There's a new spin on casual dining near Drake University. Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers. Craveable faves, flatbreads, delicious burgers, frozen cocktails, and crazy cool vibe. Get to Lucky Horse Beer and Burgers today.
The morning news on YourIowa.com is brought to you by the Commission on U.S. Territories, striving for equal representation around the globe, and by Keep Iowa First, committed to keeping the Iowa caucuses the first in the nation contest in selecting the presidency of the United States. And now, here's your host, Brent Roske.
Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is always a pleasure to be here with you. And it's a chilly day here in Iowa. We had about 10 inches of snow yesterday, which sometimes saying it out loud, I have to laugh at the different places I've lived. But yeah, 10 inches of snow. So we are digging out from that. Up on the screen right now, the little sidekick, we're going to be chatting with the inventor of the little sidekick, Amy Vohs, in just a little bit here. Our first guest is former SNL cast member Gary Kroeger. Always happy to chat with Gary, but let's run through some news real quick. NBC News is reporting that President Joe Biden will move forward with a plan announced 5 years ago, installed by the Trump administration to place abolitionist Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill. What you're looking at right now, that is a previously unreleased conceptual design of the new $20 note that was made by the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the Treasury Department is taking steps to resume efforts to put Harriet Tubman on the new $20 notes to reflect the history and diversity of our country. Harriet Tubman's image gracing the new $20 note would certainly reflect that. AXIOS is a news organization, and they're reporting something, basically one of the reasons I created what you're watching right now. AXIOS is saying traditional TV is collapsing, citing the pandemic taking a huge toll on the pay TV industry, which, as you know, most people watch broadcast television, quote unquote, free television through cable now. You can see this graph right here, non-pay television increasing 56 million households, and pay TV is cratering right now. They're saying, boy, folks, listen to this. Early estimates suggest roughly 5 million people canceled their cable subscriptions last year. And one forecast expects that pay TV subscriptions will sink by 36% in the next 5 years. And finally, Axios mentions that with many sports contracts set to expire in the next few years, that analysts predict that the ultimate collapse of the cable TV model will happen when a streaming company is granted rights for a major sports franchise. Right now, you can watch some football over at Amazon.com. They do. I think it's the Thursday night football. But yeah, really interesting how, my background was traditional television for many years. I was at NBC Universal, but feel that this is the way of the right now, not even the way of the future. So let's bring on our first guest, shall we? All the way from the Cedar Falls area, there's Gary Kroeger. How are you, buddy?
Well, I'm going from this to shoveling out of a foot of snow. So the jury is out on how I am. I will burn approximately 400 calories before breakfast.
This is the life of an Iowa celebrity. It's all about shoveling snow in January.
Life is about work, and no matter where you live. In Los Angeles, I feared earthquakes. So now I have to deal with snow. So be it. It's pretty.
I saw on the Facebook yesterday, one of the folks I know had moved down to Florida from Iowa. Obviously, January, February, you hear a lot of these things. I'm moving to Florida. This person took a picture of a big old snake in the driveway and said, I'm moving back to Iowa.
Yeah. Could have been a crocodile, or you know what I mean? You deal with, and hurricanes, you deal with what you deal with. I mean, I'm not trying to wax too philosophical this early in the morning, but this is what we deal with. On the other side of it, I will take a picture of my cute little house with all the snow and the smoke coming out of the chimney and go, you know what? This is paradise.
Folks, I got some photos up here on the screen.
Oh, boy.
Look at this. Look at beautiful Gary Kroeger tuxedo. That's Julie Louise-Dreyfus and Eddie Murphy. Well, there he is with the Beatles and Billy Crystal. And right there, you got Harry Shearer. Why don't you tell folks what we're looking at, Gary?
Well, you're looking at old SNL pictures. In fact, that one with Julia right here and Gumby, Eddie Murphy as Gumby, was my very first show. It was called the Gumby Christmas Special in 1982. And I am Donny Osmond and Julia is Marie. And it became a somewhat popular sketch. And the premise was the stupidest one-note, lowbrow. We're singing a Blue Blue Christmas together. We get closer and closer and start to make out. And and Eddie Murphy came in and ad-libbed like, what is that? Is that how you go Hawaiian? Or something like that. But it was, the audience laughed. So the next week or later on, we did a special with them again. It was a St. Patrick's Day special. Again, they kiss. And then we did another one where Marie is pregnant. Like I said, I'm sorry to all the Mormons or anybody of faith at how low that humor is, but people laughed.
Donnie and Marie, I get it. Yeah, so it sounds like a horrible gig you had to do there. Just horrible.
Well, Julia and I were, close as can be, especially back then. We had done theater together in Chicago, and she and her husband and Brad Hall and I go to do Saturday Night Live. Saturday Night Live is a very difficult experience. Now, those aren't sour grapes, and I'm not like saying poor me. I mean, lucky me. But it's a difficult experience. You're really thrown into the fire week after week.
Okay.
And you feel like your career's on the line week after week. So, egos are present. It's a difficult situation.
Talk to us about that. I mean, people don't realize are you starting from scratch every week on that program, or do you have pre-written skits? How did it work?
Well, pretty much from scratch every week, because you want to stay relevant. You want to stay relevant to whatever happens during the week. In fact, you have things come out on Friday for Saturday's show sometimes. You want to stay current. Sometimes something will get delayed till the next week. Very often you'll do a film commercial parody or something that becomes evergreen. It can go anytime. But for the most part, you're meeting a host on Monday. You sit down on Monday afternoon with the host, go, well, I've got a couple of ideas, this, that, and the other. You're writing all Monday night, all Tuesday night, taking no-dos. Wednesday morning, you get up and everybody, cast, crew, everybody, producers, writers, get together at a table around lunchtime on Wednesday, and you read through everything. It's chosen, and then you begin putting it together, blocking it for a live show on Saturday. Exciting as all get out. I'd go back in a heartbeat. But in the moment, it's like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. It's a lot of stress.
And just an incredible group of folks you're working with here. So what was it that, obviously these are just some of yourself included, some of the biggest comedy heavyweights out there. What was it that you decided to said, you know what, I'm heading back to Iowa?
Well, after SNL, I went out to Los Angeles, and I had what I call a journeyman's career. I never became a big star, but I got pilots. You know what it's like, Brent. You're in the business, and you've always been part of the business. You're always looking for work. You get a job. You don't know if it's going to be a month or a year. You just don't know. But I put together a pretty solid career. But eventually I became a father 21 years ago. And for me, being an Iowa boy at heart, my priorities have always been to be a father, like my own father, whom I admired, and my mother too, of course. But as a young man, I wanted to be like my dad, and I wanted my kids to have a bike in the driveway, and I wanted to go sledding in the winter. I wanted the security that that the many communities in Iowa provide in terms of education and general safety. Now, I'm not being Pollyanna here. We have our issues, clearly. But I wanted what I had as a child for my own sons. So I moved back 17 plus years ago, and I gave up the business except for community theater and the occasional opportunity like this to talk about my old career. But, and you didn't ask this question yet, Brent, but being here in Iowa, it allowed me to become a member of the community, to run for office, to write a newspaper article, to blog, to really try to affect change among other parents and students, like ourselves. And so Iowa for me has been, it's been Hollywood with a purpose, with a moral purpose.
I love that, Hollywood with a purpose. I tell folks that Iowa can make your dreams come true, and I believe that. I've been able to have a different type of television program here. When I tell people in Los Angeles to keep up the house and everything like that, I had to say yes to just about everything. Here you can be very specific and go after things you want to do, and I get to make a program like this and have folks like you on there. So you ran for office. You and I have that in common as well. We both ran for office. What's your takeaway? Because what I still tell people is I tell them, if you're thinking about running, you should do it. What's your takeaway? You were a congressional candidate just a couple cycles ago.
Yeah. Well, my take on that is my take on everything else. Is my take on show business. I've been a restaurateur, just like you. We have tried many different things. All I know is this is the life that I've got, and I'm very fortunate that I have health. My mind is still reasonably active. So my purpose is to do everything that I want to do. I wanted to be a representative of the people of this community in Washington and in Des Moines. So I tried it. I didn't win, but I didn't lose because I tried it. I did something that I always dreamed of doing. The point is, just like you say, Brent, if you want to do it, do it. The worst that can happen is that you don't win. Now, of course, you wanted to win, but the worst that can happen is you met Central Committee members, you met people at their door, you had barbecues, you connected with your community, with the state, with the nation. That ain't bad. That's good work if you can get it. Even if you're just a candidate, you're still in the grassroots with your feet on the ground, your boots on the ground, trying to affect change.
And I'll take you a step further. In the act of running, I'm a big fan of Roosevelt's quote: "The credit belongs to the person in the arena." There's the book I wrote about it. To be a candidate, an actual candidate, not just someone who takes an interview and says, "I'm thinking about running," but someone who does the paperwork, figures out how to do your personal budgeting, how to step away from income so you can go run. The people who actually do that, they get to say things. They're not just people who complain about things. They're not armchair quarterbacks. And that to me is a big differentiator. So congrats to you on your candidacy. So pandemic, obviously all of our lives have changed a little bit. What is Gary Kroeger current business? What are you working on, buddy?
Well, the pandemic changed things for all of us. A year ago, before all this started, I was transitioning out of advertising, where I'd been for over 16 years, and starting consulting in marketing and advertising, and also community public speaking, customer service techniques and things. And I was really starting to take off with my business, Outlier Creative Solutions. There's a plug for my business. And we're really taking off. And then all of a sudden, nobody's going outside. All of the seminars that I had scheduled through the year, sorry, we can't do it. We're going to wait and see what happens. We've all been trying to Zoom, which is a challenge. It's not the same as connecting with a person, in the room with you. But it's starting to take off again because we've all adjusted to, well, this is kind of our lives, Zoom realities and so on and so forth. So Outlier Creative Solutions, we're starting to, I'm doing a lot of helping people with their performance on camera, helping them put the script together and things like that. So that's what's keeping me busy right now.
I love it. And if folks want to learn more about that, where should they go?
Well, I'm an open book. OutlierCreativeSolutions.com is our website, and you can contact me there. I'm on LinkedIn. I answer everything. I'm at GaryKroeger.com. My Facebook profile, where I keep things very lively in terms of business, entertainment. I don't have any restrictions in terms of who can come on there and call me a jerk. Anybody can, anytime they want. But I'm not afraid of the communication. I'm not afraid of, people finding me. So any one of those. And of course, I still blog at GaryHasIssues.com.
And finally, so you've obviously lived in New York City. You've lived in Los Angeles. You chose to be here in Iowa. What's your elevator pitch when because people ask me, why'd you move to Iowa? I've got my reasons. When people ask you, why are you in Iowa? What do you tell them? What's your pitch?
I can get my arms around it. And that's literally what I say. I can get my arms around my community. I can go to the school board meeting. I used to say the only way I can get in the news in LA is if I shoot somebody on the freeway. Now that's a horrible thing to say, but it's kind of true, right? Here, I'm invited to the League of Women Voters. I'm invited to the school board. I'm invited to the city council. I can go there. It's a few blocks away. We can talk about things. I can drive to Des Moines. I can talk with you, Brent. We can talk about our plans for political futures. I can get my arms around the state. That's why I'm here.
Gary Kroeger is an Iowa treasure. So glad to know
I'm not old enough to be a treasure.
Folks, I'm going to show you a quick video that the United Nations was kind enough to provide for us. And don't go anywhere. Up next is Amy Vohs. She created a thing called the little sidekick. Everyone with little ones like I do, you're going to want to check this out. Stay right there.
When the crisis raised, all my dreams has been destroyed.
Yo nunca pensé salir de mi país.
Ile yote ilituogopesha sana mpaka hivi tulikimbilia mikono wazi.
Hey folks, welcome back to the program. Here with us is Amy Vohs and the Little Sidekick. How are you doing this morning, Amy?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I've got your commercial up here, so why don't you tell folks what we're looking at?
What you're looking at here was just parents being chucking frustrated. Children, they drop their stuff all of the time, and this is our product to kind of provide some sanity for parents and then stop the drop game.
Yeah. So, okay. Do you have a little chucker? Are you chucking frustrated? So, our little one, we were pushing her in a stroller around Gray's Lake, and she chucked her glasses. We didn't even know it. $200 pair of glasses were out the window. But here you've got something. So the little sidekick is that pink strap there. Am I right? So that's to keep the stuff from getting away from you. Is that the idea?
That's the idea. It's essentially it's very simple. It's a strap. Is all it is, but it has several different opportunities to wrap any item because, like you said, they chuck anything. I mean, they think they're going to be professional, all of them, professional football players. I don't know, but they throw everything that they have. They don't discriminate, whether it's glasses, their cups, a toy, anything. And so we created a strap to remedy that issue for good.
I love it. I'm freezing here on the frame here. He's got it. Oh, no, he stopped there. Can't check it.
Game over, pal.
So I love it. So, this is obviously you must have experience with this. Why don't you walk folks through your path to creating the little sidekick?
Well, it's definitely been a journey for sure. So the original product came, obviously, my son was a chucker like yours. And like so many other parents can relate to, and I'm kind of a self-proclaimed germaphobe, and so it was just really a terrible experience for me. Of all the things that parenting throws at you, my child chucking seemed to be the sticking point that set me off on a journey. So many people have cool missions, and my mission is to stop the drop game. And so that it's came out of necessity. He threw everything. One of the worst experiences I had was in a public restroom, where he had thrown an item underneath somebody else's stall. And it was like, are you kidding me? Like, how is this even a thing? And we researched, there was nothing out there. And so, like I said, mommy mission to stop the drop game. Little Sidekick was born.
I love it. So where is the product now? It looks like, is the product available? Where's it at? How long has the process been to get it to where it's at now?
Well, we launched in 2013. And before that, so my son's 10 now. And he was 6 months when we had this problem. It doesn't even seem like that's possible, but it took us a couple years just to get the product to market. Mm-hmm. It seems kind of crazy for a simple strap, but there was a lot involved in it. And then once we launched, that's definitely been a journey. But we went from just, hustling to, door to door to now in over 4,000 stores worldwide.
Holy buckets. That's fantastic. And you're based here in Iowa. Where are you at and how long have you been here?
So we are based out of Polk City, Iowa, and I'm a lifer.
I'm a lifer. I love it. Polk City's a great spot, just right up the road, easy into Des Moines, real easy to do that. But so, you mentioned bringing a product to market, not an easy thing. Looking back now, what would you have done differently, or what's your verdict now that you've gone through the whole process?
I'd pretty much do everything differently. Nothing works out the way that you expect it to work out. However, with that being said, really, even the bad things that have happened and come along the way have really led us to the opportunities that we were able to gain. And so, I would definitely look at things differently from a perspective of who to hire, when to hire, what to do on your own, what not to do on your own. Those sorts of things, where to spend money, where not to spend money, are some of the definite things that we've learned along the way, that we would have done a lot different probably. But the end result is we're really happy with.
Oh, fantastic. You just mentioned something, a lot of small businesses, regardless if it's a product or not, they get a little initial funding and sometimes get excited about, okay, we're going to make our team bigger. We're going to build our team up. And I've heard a lot of times that's an undoing, 6-8 months into it, those payroll costs, et cetera. If someone was going to bring a product to market, are there a few tips you could offer to say, this worked for me, this didn't work so well?
Oh, absolutely. So first of all, if you're going to bring product to market, do it. There's no better time than now. So many people wait on it and wait on it and wait on it. And next thing they know, they're in the store and there it is. And even if you think it's a terrible idea, it never hurts to try, kind of along the lines of what Gary and you were speaking about before. If you don't try, you're really going to regret it. And so take those steps. But some of the initial things, recommendations I would have is just get in there and do it. So many people have that idea and they string it along for 5 years. The next thing you know, they've spent $20,000, $30,000 when there's so many different things that you can do, like creating 3D prototypes very inexpensively to see if it's even a reality. Make sure that you do your research and have something that really defines you within that market, that sets you apart. And if you have that, then grow on that. And spend some of that initial funds just making sure the product works. Don't jump into a patent. Don't waste all these funds until you know that your product works and that there's a need for it. And then you have some different opportunities.
So the little Sidekick, it sounds like it's taken the better part of a decade of your time, of your life.
Oh, you make that sound so long now.
Is there going to be a little Sidekick follow-up product?
Yeah, so we actually have several different products. We launched with the little Sidekick sippy cup strap. From there, we created a new innovation called the little Sidekick. We call it a flavored teether. It's the world's first truly flavored teether. It's just super innovative. We innovate. We take natural flavoring and infuse it into the teether. So kids are getting true taste on impact, which is encouraging teething and helping not only the child, but the parents. Really, the goal here is to make life easier for parents. And teething is definitely another problem that parents have to go through and grow with their child with. And so we have a teether line. We also have a snack cup that's coming out. 2020 has been a little difficult, but has allowed us to pivot and bring out, we have several more exciting things coming in 2021.
And I was told in an email to ask you about Shark Tank.
Oh no. She set me up. Yeah, we love Shark Tank. It's a great show. It's a great opportunity for people. We did, when they came through Iowa, they had live auditions, and we did the whole stand in line thing, and we made it to the third round, but we did not get to air, which ended up again working out. We were able to get a local group of investors and help us exceed in getting into our big box retailers and whatnot. But yeah, that was certainly something fun that you don't always get to do.
Yeah, it's, I mean, talk about that moment, before you go on there, because look, that show has in fact changed people's lives in the space of 3 minutes. It really has done that. I don't mean to put you through an anxiety memory here, but what was it like that 5 minutes before you were about to go on?
Well, we didn't go on all the way. We made it to the very last stage of Shark Tank. So you get all of these, you think, well, if only we could get this opportunity, it would change so much for us, and it put us in the position that so many people, opportunity that so many people, just the publicity alone. And so you get yourself, it's really a great opportunity to put the horse in front of the buggy, for sure, because it's just a starting point getting on to something like that, and then getting an opportunity to meet with those investors. But unfortunately, we didn't get to the opportunity to actually pitch to the investors, but it is definitely a roller coaster of emotions, just even going through the interview processes and to think what it could do.
Isn't it interesting, that process too? It's almost similar to auditioning in entertainment business, but what you're doing, in fact, is honing down the benefits of your product. You're getting just that much better on pitching it. Would you say that, the process, the Shark Tank experience for you folks, did that make you better selling your product after the fact?
Oh, absolutely. It gives you your quick 30-second pitch. Like, there's no way to put somebody on the spot. Then you have 30 seconds for the biggest opportunity of your life, which is it was the same for Shark Tank, but it's also the same when you're meeting retailers and buyers, and you literally have 30 seconds, or consumers, to make an impression, to get that opportunity or to get that sale. And so it absolutely helped us.
Well, your energy is infectious. I can see why you love to do this sort of thing. So congrats on your entrepreneurial spirit. I love it. And if people want to get a little Sidekick, where should they go?
Well, they can hit us up on our website, littlesidekick.com. We're in Walmart stores across the nation. We are in Bye Bye Babies. We're in local boutiques. We're online at Amazon. You can pretty much find us everywhere.
I love it. Amy Vohs with the Little Sidekick. Thank you so much for being here. And folks, we got a huge week of programs coming up. We hope to see you right back here, same time tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.